Welcome back to another edition of the Justin Time Podcast. I'm your host, Justin, and we've got Will with us. Will, let me ask you a very important question about this coming football season.
What you got?
You think LSU can win number Jaden Daniels trademark?
That's a great question. You got to talk to his mom about that.
No, I'm serious. You think we can win number 5 this year?
They should, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. Can we win our number Jaden Daniels trademark championships
Yes.
this year?
Man, oh man.
Did y'all really think we were going to let this go?
Listen, I'm laughing because a couple reasons. One, I'm in a great mood because I'm officially official.
Yeah.
I put my dues in. Earn, not given.
Look, we've been talking about getting him these shirts for almost a year now.
The glow.
And we finally got it done.
But it had to be earned, not given. So listen,
yeah,
you're the star of the show.
You have been earned your spot.
I appreciate you, brother. But it's good to get. I got it.
There is no Justin Time podcast so far without you.
Oh, brother, you're the star of the show, brother. I appreciate you bringing me along the ride. So yeah,
no problem. But I couldn't put a number 5 on there though.
Yeah,
because we might get a couple of cease and desist orders.
So listen, they'll be okay. Yeah. No, I remember when I saw it like several days ago before I went to sleep. I was just like, this is not gonna be good. It's not gonna be ideal, I should say. Just like because stuff like this sours the relationship. But not to say it will never be salvaged and repaired, but I know it'll create friction.
Yeah.
And like some of the stuff the quotes that were coming out. But we had talked about this several days ago on the phone, and you had I want you to if you don't mind, like just like tell our people like what your stance on that is.
So my stance here, and I've thought about it and I've gone back and forth. My stance at the moment is, he should be focusing on this coming season for the Commanders.
Yeah.
I really don't think it's him, because if it's him, it's not a good look for, number one, the LSU fan base.
Yeah.
And number 2, it's not a good look for a Commanders fan base. If your quarterback who had a injury-ridden, substandard, like bottom of the barrel tier season last year.
Yeah.
Due to injury, but if he's coming into training camp and all he's thinking about is LSU gave my jersey number away, they didn't retire it, that's not a good look, and boy, is he getting roasted.
Just to piggyback off of that, my dad he had asked me about it like a day or so after it happened, just like, because he had basically said the same thing, you should be going into your 3rd NFL season, and you had an incredible historic rookie season, more slump, with and stuff like that, didn't work out as good. That's where his focus should be. One of my coworkers said to me like a couple days ago, he said, if you're going to do this, that's fine, but just like do it, I would do it quietly.
Yeah.
Just like, because I'm all about we should always be about unnecessary hassle. That's an unnecessary hassle. Just not creating more trouble than what we should.
Exactly.
Creating trouble, period. And like I said, I don't he doesn't like you were told me you had stressed it to me already. He doesn't seem like the guy that would do that. Cause like given his I brought up the situation with him and Juju Watkins sitting at the basketball game together.
Yeah.
Like they got broken up by his mom. I was like, on the surface, I don't know these people personally.
Yeah.
So it's all speculation. This seems like you were saying this, it seems like his mom is kind of pulling the strings here.
Yeah, you look at the paperwork and all the articles that they posted, and quotes from that, it's never Jayden is profoundly disrespected.
Yeah.
It's Jayden's and his family, or Jayden's family, feels profoundly disrespected. Mm-hmm. It reads, Mama said I should be disrespected. And Mama Daniels said, I am profoundly disrespected for what you did to my son. You should retire his jersey. And,
Now, I will say, yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead.
I was going to say, now, here's the thing. When I first saw the news, I'm going to be honest, I didn't, it looks bad on LSU's part when I first looked at it, because I look at USC. They retired their Heisman winners numbers.
Yeah.
And I know it's a different school. I get it. Like this, but I'm going somewhere with this for the people. But just you have to have certain things in place. I feel like Billy Cannon's number should never be worn again. Joe Burrow's number 9 should never be worn again. Jaden Daniels number 5 should never be worn again. Period. But and I think some of those things should be in place because I brought up like there was so much we've seen the golden age of LSU football. We were privileged to see it, but even in the golden age, they struggled mightily at the quarterback position. Not
Mhm.
because we didn't have talented guys who could produce, but it was just not a focus of the coaching staff that we had. They just didn't
Yeah,
prioritize the passing the ball enough.
exactly.
They just used the athleticism and the talent in spurts, but didn't tailor, which if that's your right, that's your right to do that. But when
Yeah,
you see the offense struggling, you need to give them a team a different element, which is I've always been a big Les Miles fan, but like he capped his own potential here because he was rigid in his play calling.
yeah.
And like so when we have Joe Burrow and Jaden Daniels, not mind you, they were transfers. So they
Mhm.
weren't homegrown LSU players. So they both changed the perception of who the program is at the quarterback
Yeah,
position. I still don't even hold them in high regard historically at the quarterback position because that's not what they are historically.
yeah.
Period. They're not Oklahoma. They're not USC. Probably never will
Mhm.
be. But those two young men drastically changed the perception. That's a huge part of like they had looked at Bryce Underwood. He was temporarily signed. Just you saw the shift, and I feel like that weight, especially as transfers, that's what they should have. They should be honored in the right way. That was
Yeah.
my stance early on.
And, I've looked at it a bunch of different ways.
Yeah,
One thing, there was an old interview with Mike Irvin,
yeah,
you know, who talked about, when they retire your jersey, they hang it from the Raptors, and then the only other time they hear from you, Mike Irvin passed, so sad. And then they move on with the game,
yeah.
you know. But when you don't retire your jersey, you've got out there like CD Lamb, 88, Joe's makes a catch. He drops that ball. They say Mike Irvin would have caught that ball.
I remember hearing that. That was
You
so
know,
funny.
then he said, if he catches the ball, they say, oh, he looked like a young Mike Irving out there.
Mm.
You know, your name lives in infamy as long as your jersey number is worn.
And like that's a very unique set because they like and you bring it up like their legacy of Dallas Cowboys tradition of the '88 jersey. Going back
Yeah,
with the Drew Pearson, Edgar Irvin, Bryant, and of course CD Lamb. Right now, LSU has those jersey numbers traditionally with 18 and 7, team being the leader,
yeah,
the 7 being the it guy, playmaker.
yeah,
Like I said, every team has their own traditions and quirks about
yeah.
it.
And like you brought up the number 7. Here's another thing I heard from Leonard Fournette.
Yeah.
You know, Tyrann Mathieu, Patrick Peterson. Nobody wore the number 7 until Fournette did again. You know, and that was because he went and said he wanted that jersey, and they took it out and gave it to him. You know,
Hmm.
it's kind of to me, it should be an honor if somebody wants to wear your jersey number.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I get it. College sports today isn't the homegrown atmosphere that it used to be. You know, you got all these transfers coming in like Jayden and Burrow.
Right.
Coming in. The lore and everything surrounding these numbers, they don't mean as much to a Jaden Daniels as it does to or look, and I'm gonna say Jaden Daniels a lot. I don't mean Jaden Daniels, I mean his mom. Because there's no telling what Jaden Daniels actually really feels. His mom won't let him speak without her hand on his back.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, and the guys when we talk about number 7, the guy that you had mentioned, the Fournettes, Patrick Peterson and Tyrann Mathieu, they were homegrown players, so like they
Mhm.
have a different their entry, their origin story at LSU is different. Whereas, like I said, with Joe and Jaden, they were transfers. My thing at the end of the day, I don't really care where you come from because at the end of the day, if you're a legendary player, you're gonna be celebrated regardless.
And
But I
here's the
understand
deal.
people have yeah.
Yeah, and here's the deal with that. You know, for all of you saying and looking at it and saying, well, they're respecting Joe Burrow more and all of that. You cannot, that's comparing apples to oranges. You can't compare what Joe Burrow did to what Jaden Daniels did, and nor should you. It shouldn't be. That's what happened at a quarterback position at LSU after 2019. Everybody who came up to a certain point was being compared to Joe Burrow.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot compare them to. They had two different play styles. Joe was more of a pocket passer. He ran. He was a tough son of a bitch, and he ran. And he wasn't afraid to put his shoulder down. But that was always, there was no other options.
Yeah.
Towards the end of Jaden Daniels' career at LSU, his Heisman Trophy year. Okay, I will say this. Look, Joe and they both won the Heisman. Joe won the Heisman because he went 12-0 in the regular season and won an SEC championship. Because they are heavy with the Heisman Trophy, they give it to whose team is doing the best.
Yeah.
Jaden Daniels won the Heisman Trophy because of what he did as well, but LSU also padded his stats. And I'm an LSU guy through and through. At some point, we realized Brian Kelly wasn't bringing his team to the championship. The defense was trash. We put resources in, like that kid, Jayden, and all of that. That was all LSU. They put resources into him. They put him in those games, kept him in those games way too long against little nobody teams where we were up 55 points just so he could pad his stats.
And the thing is, like, they're playing for something. You typically play for something here. So just if I know that we're out the championship contention, I wanted him to. I enjoyed it. I just wanted him to win because that's what the thing about. And this is another topic for another day. Just when we talk about especially football, I'm a big championship guy. I'm a Lakers fan, Yankees fan. I love both of those franchises. But when it comes to football specifically, you could look at championships, and that's important to get. But there's so much that goes into football that, like, it's just you don't have control over much of the game.
Exactly.
As people would like to believe. Basketball, you control more of the game. Mm-hmm. Baseball is unpredictable at times, but even though it's a defensive sport, you still control the game with offense, with batting, base running, fielding. Even though pitchers don't hit a lot, I mean, sometimes they do. So you just have more control of the outcome. But football, you don't have that luxury.
Exactly. And, one of the big things, too, if you look at it, and here's why, to me, Joe Burrow's jersey will never be used, and why it's a different case, and why I'm okay with DJ Pickett being number 5.
Mm-hmm.
Jaden Daniels sat out that bowl game at the end of his career.
I have no problem with it.
At the time, I didn't have a problem with it. Get the new guys some time in.
Yeah.
But it's still a football game, and you still would have worn the purple and gold and had that number 5 out there for one more time.
Yeah.
And you chose to sit that game. If the roles were reversed, Joe Burrow would have played that game. If you're going to compare Joe Burrow and Jaden Daniels.
Who knows? I will say it's easier to play in the Natty game than the Cheez-It Bowl.
Yeah. But I will say this, too. I feel like Jaden Daniels going in, though, because Brian Kelly was such a shitty coach and didn't care about player safety. Jayden, the year before that, Brian Kelly's lucky. Jaden Daniels is just lucky under Brian Kelly that he still has a football career. Because in that Texas A&M game where we went there, Jayden came up limping one play after they tackled him with his knee.
Yeah.
They called timeout. They checked on him, and he left him out there for 2 more series to the point where the poor kid couldn't get up and walk, Yep. So maybe him sitting out the Cheez-It Bowl was a career choice, and is why he still has a career, because Brian Kelly would have hurt that boy.
Yeah, and the thing about the thing bowl games is they're just a glorified exhibition game. They've always have been that. And if you're not talking about a New Year's Six, because at least New Year's Six game they traditionally rotate as the championship game historically, and now they playoff games.
Yeah,
it's both seasons just glorified exhibition. Because if I'm a top 5 pick locked, I don't gain it. Like, unless I'm in the playoffs, I don't gain anything from playing in that game personally. And the only reason, and I think Malik Neighbors, like, the only reason he played in that game, or either him or Brian, the only reason is because it was a penalty on that last LSU home game that like
Yeah.
broke. So it's just like that's the reason he played because he wanted to, finish that stat line off. And forgive me for not having that specifics on that
No, that's
offhand, but
fine.
just that's the only reason he played. I mean, I don't have a problem with them sitting
Yeah.
because you play for championships here anyway. So and build up high end college program or college sports in general, especially the high end programs. Your legacy is built on two things: the success you have at your level, so national
Mhm.
championships, all Americans, conference title, division title, whatever, whatever, and
Yeah.
then putting guys into professional ranks. That's their legacy. So if
Yeah.
I'm not
But,
winning a championship, prepare me like I'm resting up for the pros because
to
that's the legacy
me,
of the program.
it's just to me, you really wanna cement your time and you wanna complain about them not honoring your jersey and number 5 belongs to Jayden and all of that, should have played the bowl game. I know it's a glorified exhibition match and all of that, but you had one more time to suit up for the purple and gold and you chose to sit out, you chose to sit out. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
hold it
that's
against you for long, but in this conversation, you whining and complaining that we disrespected you and gave it your jersey to somebody else. It's kind of an easier decision once you remember he sat out the bowl game to me.
yeah, yeah. I'm like when you look at that in context, I know people will like look at that. Listen, but I'm of the standpoint personally where you have a guy, Garrett Nussmeier, like at the time, that's the perfect time to get him real live reps. And I
Yeah,
think that was a huge benefit to him. That's really before teams started skipping out on bowl games altogether. It's just the fact
yeah,
that's the to me that's the big benefit of it, the bowl game, because you have even a small look of what those extra practices because Garrett was the full time starter next year. So
yeah,
any type of opportunity he can get in a full game reps, I'm for that because
yeah,
Jayden, my legacy is sealed. I don't gain much. I don't get anything for playing in this game. I already got my Heisman. I already gonna be a top 2 pick. We're not playing for a championship.
yeah,
That and I like I say I understand what the legacy, but it's also business. Like
yeah,
yeah, it's for sports is business. Like I know
yeah.
people don't like to acknowledge that, but that's what it is.
And j- you know, last episode we talked about the legacy. Now we're going to talk about this episode we talked about the fall of one of the LSU greats
Yeah,
because I don't think a soul in Louisiana would let Jaden Daniels crash if he needed to after all of this.
yeah. I think just like
So,
yeah. Go ahead.
you talk business. We're going to talk some business about this. And oh, this is a video. Never mind. I wish I had the thing I do somewhere. I just got to find it. No, I don't. But I can play the video and just turn the volume off and roll through. Here's one. May 5th will be recognized nationally as Cinco de Mayo in honor of the Commanders quarterback Jaden Daniels.
Yes, indeed.
Five Guys has officially changed their name to Four Guys out of respect for Jaden Daniels.
I remember you had told me that one, brother.
Let's see. I'm gonna run through this. Having this one. Do y'all think Jaden Daniels would be okay with me throwing my son a 5th birthday party?
Once they start, they don't stop.
Somebody put order to number 5 at Jimmy John's and now have a voicemail from Jaden Daniels' lawyer.
It'll be a little while before they
Gave a
chill off
homeless
of that.
man a $5 bill and Jaden Daniels' mom came and took it away. Da, 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 da. Jaden Daniels has sent Maroon 5 a cease and desist order. Daniels' camp said only one person could truly represent Maroon 5. Others were the Mets, historically bad baseball team, trolling Jaden Daniels. We stopped at 4 in respect to Jaden Daniels. Columbia football said in honor of Jaden Daniels, we would no longer have 5-yard lines.
Mm,
Straight out of the Commanders' camp, Jaden Daniels pitched a fit for a team trying to give him a high five, and now they only give high fours.
mm,
Out of respect for Jaden Daniels, what was another one? They changed the dime to Jaden Daniels' face, and then one of my favorites was "Move Over, Abraham Lincoln." There's a new face on the $5 bill.
man, I just this is what I don't like about it. It's like it's going to temporarily sour the relationship. And I know people hold grudges a long
Yeah,
time. Just ideally, it'll pass over unless they get something. That's why I'm always about when we talk about player lore and legacy and like you got to have certain things in place already.
yeah,
Like just like and that you got to have it in place. These guys,
Mhm.
those that he is so important to the perception of how they play offense. Like it's just so profound. I think that's ideally
Yeah.
they would have had something in place with the numbers, but I mean that's neither here nor there at this point.
And, people look, this is if I was Lane Kiffin and the previous coach had offered probably one of your best defensive players returning
Yeah,
when he recruited him, and Brian Kelly knew because Pickett's first year was last year in 2025.
yeah,
Jaden Daniels won the Heisman Trophy in 2023. So there was a year in between where he was recruiting him, and he told him, "Oh yeah, kid, you can have the number 5."
mm.
You know, and changed his mind last minute last year and gave him the number 3 because he realized he made a boneheaded mistake. But if I'm in Lane Kiffin's shoes and I'm talking to this kid to stay, and he's not asking for money in all of this, I mean, of course he asked for money, but still, he's not asking for an obscene amount of money. It sounds
Yeah,
like the only thing he was asking for was a promise that the previous coach made him when recruiting him, and that was to wear number 5.
yeah.
And I can keep this kid who is a All American last year as a freshman on defense. I would have made the same choice. I'd have gave him the number 5.
Yeah, and like we had talked about that too. It's just like, listen, like Lane has nothing to do with that anyway. So it's just like this
Yeah,
is my regime now. Like I know I'm sure he respects the legacy of
yeah,
LSU, which is why he came to begin with, but just like I mean that has nothing to do with me. As great as Jaden
yeah.
was, that ain't got nothing to do with me.
And
So
to me, kudos to LSU for not backing down. Every chance every time DJ Pickett does something good at fall camp, they post a picture of him and number 5 on his jersey is clearly seen in the video, and it's DJ Pickett made this pick. You know, they're not shying away from it. Mama Daniels is not going to beat LSU. Jaden Daniels is not LSU gear is not going to be stopped from being sold, and that Heisman Trophy is still sitting in Death Valley.
yeah,
I mean, I hate to break it to you, you're fighting a losing battle and sullying a relationship that there's no need to do that.
unfortunately,
And to me, unless you tag on a championship behind it, I'm gonna use Dylan Cruz as an example. Okay,
yeah,
World Series champion, Golden Glove Award winner. But what he did for the community and LSU, his 4 years in college at LSU,
mhm,
there would never be another guy that wears number 3.
yeah,
Paul Skeens comes along, some kid comes in years down the road. Just based on what Paul Skeens you can't use him. He's only been, what is it now, 3-time All Star? Yeah, a Cy Young Award and a Rookie of the Year award winner. Not to mention he broke Ben McDonald's record, was the number 1 pick in the draft. You know,
yeah. He's been an All Star in each of his 3 seasons.
yeah,
They won it last year, 2-time All MLB first team, the first 2 years in the league, Rookie of the Year, NL Rookie of the Year.
yeah,
Last year's MLB RA leader. Yeah,
yeah. You want to go and Jaden Daniels just because Paul Skeens was a transfer. And I'll use Joe Burrow too, because Joe Burrow won some awards what was it, his first or his second year there?
are you talking about for the NFL?
Yeah, because then he took him to the Super Bowl one year.
Year 2.
Year 2, yeah.
So year 2, he was comeback player of the year on their en route to their Super Bowl appearance. He's a 3-time Pro Bowl, 22, 24, and last year led the league in passing yards and passing touchdowns in 2024. Led the league in completion percentage in 2021.
Yeah, so look, Jaden Daniels' is mama. Not Jaden Daniels, because Jaden Daniels is playing football right now, and hopefully he's not the cause of this.
Right.
Jaden Daniels' is mama. When Jaden Daniels goes and does all of that we just listed for Paul Skeens and Joe Burrow,
Yeah.
then we can have an argument and we can talk. But
And
until
like,
then, all of these silly cease and desist orders, and it's not a good look for him with the LSU fan base, and it can't be a good look with the Commanders fan base. And I've never seen a player get roasted over a jersey number so much as him. you know, you're doing more harm than good. Let your boy play. He's got the skills and the talent. Let him be. I know you feel differently.
Well, I mean, like I said, like I see both sides. I mean, it's how problematic it is.
Yeah.
I just think like Heisman should be enough to get that retired, especially at that position for this school's history, relative to that
Yeah.
history at the position. The thing, and like championships in football, I won all of them, but
Yeah.
there's just so much that goes into winning a title. Now, like you had talked about, like LSU 2019 defense wasn't great either, but they were
Yeah.
way better than 2023. 2023 is the worst defense in history of the program. And the fact
Exactly.
that they got 10 wins, that's a testament to Jaden's greatness. But like I said,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have if it's him, like if it's I wouldn't have allowed my mother to, do all this publicly, period, let alone publicly, because this is
Yeah.
unnecessary hassle.
I'll close this off with just this. Okay. Jaden Daniels, number 9 should be yours. Because there's another football player who let his mama do all his talking. Bobby Boucher, the water boy. Mama said,
But I mean, didn't he have 51 tackles in one game? I said, if you get
yeah,
51 tackles in the game, look, you can do it.
but mama said, you can't wear the number 5.
Hey,
You just bigot.
you can't,
Mama
you can't,
said, you
hey,
can't.
clip that. You got to clip that, bro. God, that is too,
Mama said,
man, that's funny.
I mean, everything you hear from this, it doesn't sound, other than when he made that statement that he's focusing on camp, everything else is mama said, I should be offended,
Mhm.
But we'll leave it off with that your mama said joke. And I hope y'all have a great day, a great night. Whatever you have, just make it a great one. Please like, subscribe, share it, turn your notifications on so you hear from us. Every little bit helps. And with that, God bless. Have a good one. And see y'all later.
Later.